Up next, Maitland still celebrating after securing the 2022 Newcastle Rugby League Grand Final. Meanwhile, the Wanderers stay alive after securing a victory over Maitland in the Hunter Rugby Union elimination final. And we'll have more local sport from Northern New South Wales as well. That's all but coming up next, right here on NBN's local sports news. Good evening, my name's Conklin McLeod with NBN's local sports news. Tonight, the Pickers still celebrating after winning the Newcastle Rugby League Grand Final. The Wanderers through to a Newcastle Rugby Union preliminary final with Hamilton. And the Tigers go to back-to-back penalty shootouts into the Newcastle women's hockey, and to go through to the grand final. As we showed you last night, and of course we'll show you it again, the Maitland Pickers are still celebrating after taking out yesterday's Newcastle Rugby League Grand Final, defeating the Macquarie Scorpions 40 points to 4. It was a massive celebration up at McDonald Jones Stadium, as our own Mitchell Hughes reports.
There was always going to be plenty of feeling in the decider. Some early push and shove saw Royce Jeffrey on report. A few minutes later, Brock Lamb was hit late, and from the ensuing scuffle, Jeffrey was sent to the bin. Lamb converted the penalty to make it 2-0 to Maitland. The minor premiers produced desperate defence to deny Macquarie's Kerrod Holland the opening try. Instead, it was a great run by Lincoln Smith that set up Lamb for the first 4-pointer. A few minutes later, Lamb returned the favour, offloading to Jaden Butterfield as the Pickers made it 14-0. Just before half-time, the Scorps finally gave their fans something to cheer about as Dean Morris fought his way over. Leading 14-4, Maitland edged further in front shortly after the break as Chad O'Donnell put Reed Alchin into a gap. The Pickers were on their way to the title when Alchin crashed over for a double. Skipper Alex Langbridge got in on the act, darting over from dummy half to make it 30 points to 4. But the Pickers weren't done yet. Smith set up Lamb for his second try. Matt Soper-Lawler put the icing on the cake, taking an intercept inside his own 20 before running away to score. For Maitland, the premiership was the culmination of 3 years of hard work.
Such a good feeling now. It's a relief. It's been 3 years in the making for us. To finally get the opportunity today and perform the way we did, we're super proud.
The Wanderers will join the Hamilton Hawks in the preliminary final of the Hunter Rugby season after beating Maitland 22-17 in a elimination final. It was just fantastic for the Wanderers, who were just too good for their rivals right throughout the game yesterday. To hockey now, and of course, the Tigers have triumphed in back-to-back penalty shootouts to qualify for their first decider since 2017 and end a major title streak of Oxford's. And of course, having drawn 1-1 in Saturday's preliminary final, the Tigers beat Oxford's 3-1 in the shootout at Newcastle's International Hockey Centre. The Tigers, who also eliminated Regals in a shootout last week, will now clash with the top-ranked Gosford in the Newcastle District Women's Hockey Association Premier League showdown for this year. The Oxford have won the three most recent grand finals from 2018 to 2020, with last year's competition cut short because of COVID. Meanwhile, in the men's Hunter Coast Premier Hockey, Gosford is through to the grand final after securing a 4-1 win over Maitland. To harness racing and Laugh Park trainer Darren Elder will have two paces in the Hawkesbury to Hunter final at Newcastle Paceway on Friday night, after Hazel Shadow player qualified as one of the fastest runners-up. Hazel Shadow player with Brad Elder driving was second to Scotty John Walsh, training long shot. It's inevitable on Friday night in the fourth of 6 heats of the 2-round series. And just ahead, there'll be more local sports news from Northern New South Wales.
Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's the big one you want. It's the game for you. 'Cause it's the big red ball that makes dreams come true. Dreams come true. Dreams come true. The big red ball. The big red ball. It's the big red ball that makes dreams come true.
I'm going to buy that.
Into big business now, are we?
Nope. I'm quite happy with the small business I own, Louise.
Who are you banking with now, Bob?
Newcastle Permanent.
No, I mean your company banking.
Yeah, we're with the firm.
Didn't know they did business banking.
Well, they have done for quite some time now, Dad.
Oh, good move.
That's mine. Thank you.
Your business is in good hands with Newcastle Permanent.
They're our building society.
Wake up in the morning, gotta get... Because the Herald is the best way to start your day.
Still on Hunter Rugby, and of course Mayweather coach Jamie Lynd believes his young side now gets what it takes to win big games. The Greens came from behind 21-0 down to pip Hamilton 28-26 in the major semi-final at the number 2 sports ground on Saturday. In the end, it took a 46-metre penalty from Sam Berry to seal Mayweather place in the grand final for the first time since 2012. Terrigal was through to Central Coast Rugby Union's grand final after a convincing win over Avoca. Meanwhile, in another thrilling final, Carryong's premiership dream bit the dust.
The campaigns of 4 teams have already ended. Neither Carryong or the Razorbacks willing to be next. Arimba getting the ball rolling first through Rob Pettit.
Brilliant pass, back to Peden. Peden's beat tonight a second time.
Backing it up less than 5 minutes later, Jared Grange utilising the momentum in more ways than one. Converting his own try to put the Razorbacks up 12-0. With barely any time remaining before a break, Carryong not only managed to open their account, but score back-to-back, starting with Kane Williams seizing a rare opportunity through a hole in Arimba's defence. and using the old 1-2 to bring it over the line himself.
Cluck inside if he wants it. Cluck inside. Inside. Carrier Wanderers from nowhere.
But Arimba were too strong out of the main break, managing to cross 3 more times to Carryong's 1, with Steve Finley sealing the win for Arimba, squashing the hopes and dreams of the Wanderers 38-19. Terrigal and Avoca battled with a week off and a grand final berth on the line. Both sides refused to concede a try until the second half. Terrigal's Dylan Calabria finally getting over the line.
The first try of the game, we're 50 minutes in.
Salipopo Pomata following suit, and Avoca wasn't able to catch up. The Trojans earning their grand final spot 23-13. The Sharks have one more chance against Arimba this weekend. Will DeFulvio, NBN News.
Elsewhere, and the New England Nomads are Northwest AFL premiers, following a nail-biting 6-point win over the Tamworth Swans, the game going down to the wire. Tamworth has hosted its largest ever darts tournament over the weekend. The annual event attracts players with all levels of skill, while officials saying the Northwest talent held their own.
Running for 45 years, the Tamworth Darts Tournament continues to get bigger and better. 122 men and 48 women entered this year in hopes of achieving darts glory.
We have people coming from Queensland, Tasmania, Melbourne, North Shores in Sydney.
Players battled it out at Westleague's club, competing for a slice of $7,000 worth of prize money.
Some players haven't even played before. So we've got new players here and we've got players that have been coming back for many years.
Tamworth local Graham Parker won the men's tournament. Meanwhile, Grafton woman Sarah Harrison took out top honours in the women's. Officials say the competition was fierce.
Mitchell Clegg, who comes here, he's represented Australia over in England, playing against the big players over there when he was the junior.
The professional international player is a regular at the event.
It's a tournament I've played since I was 13, so about 18 years I've been coming here.
Clegg says the all-age competition is a great opportunity to foster young talent.
The older players and more experienced players have got so much time for those young players.
And he's full of praise for the local talent that has come out of the Northwest region.
They're nothing short of experience. They've played for New South Wales, they've played all over the state, and played in some of the biggest tournaments in the country.
Grace Nicholson, NBN News.
The Wollumbar Alstonville Pioneers have made the Far North Coast Rugby Union Grand Final for the 10th year in a row. This year, they're staying level-headed ahead of their game against the Bangalore Rebels on Saturday.
Down to 14 players in the first 15 minutes of their preliminary final against Lennox Head, War have made it through to the Far North Coast Rugby Union Grand Final against all odds.
It was pretty tough, actually. You've got two options. You can either cave in and let them run all over you, or you can find a good mental kind of space.
An early red card sent one of their locks off.
So we've just got to put up with that. We'll go through the judicial hearing and stuff like that, and then we'll hopefully get him back because he is a big part of the team.
After being just 1 point in the lead at half-time, they ended up winning to the Trojans 30-14.
We actually just didn't win. We beat them quite comprehensively, so that was another feather in our cap, I thought.
Luck wasn't on their side, losing one of their top players early.
So we lost Joshy, our left side winger, after literally his first run, about the first 2 minutes, which is a bit of a worry, right, because then we had to bring someone off the bench who hadn't been trained in that position.
Bill admits this week his team will be in recovery mode ahead of their final clash against the Bangalore Rebels on Saturday. This will be their 10th consecutive grand final, having won 6 in that period.
We're used to grand final week. We actually embellish it. Like we really enjoy the build-up to it, but we don't get too excited.
The Pioneers are hoping to make it their 7th win. Josephine Shannon, NBN News.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Anyway, that's about it for now for NBN's local sports news. My name is Connor Glenn McLeod. And don't forget, I'll be back tomorrow for more of us here. Good night.